ever wanted to grow your own peas from seed, but you're not really sure how to get started?
Well, today we're going to help you build your pea knowledge and help you actually sow outdoors peas step by step.
Hi, we're Sean and Allison from Spoken Garden, and we're partnering with Eden Brothers to help you in your garden.
Yeah, we want to help you become a better gardener and grow your best flowers and vegetables yet. So let's find out more about peas. Now, before we show you how to sow these pea seeds, there's a couple things we'd like you to know. First, peas are an annual type of plant, and they're hardy in zones 1 through 9. Now, peas are what are considered a cool season crop, and that means they'll grow really well in either the spring or the fall months, but they won't grow really well in the warmer times of year. Now, most peas really like full sun locations, and they really like to grow in fertile, well-draining soil. Now, the seeds we're going to be sowing today are called Patio Pride, and they are an AAS winner, and they're an open pollinated plant. Now, this is a fun pea to grow because it's considered a shelling or vining pea, and it really grows well on some type of support structure, even a living structure like some type of really tall plant with a sturdy stem. Now, it'll produce tender, sweet pods that range about 4 to 5 inches long when they're fully mature, and you can grow them right on their patio, just like they're called. Now, these peas will produce harvestable pods in about 40 days after germination. You should see germination anywhere from 6 to 17 days under perfect conditions.
All right, let's talk about some fun facts for your Patio Pride peas. In general, you can expect your peas to grow up to 18 to 24 inches tall and have about a 1-foot spread. These peas are perfect for container gardens, culinary gardens, or small space gardens. One idea for these peas is to plant them in successive plantings. They do really well with that. And as an added benefit, these peas make great natural nitrogen fixers and give back nutrients to the soil, which make it really perfect for future crops in the summer like corn or other things later on. Now let's talk about when to sow your seeds so you can get them started at the right time. You can direct sow them in the spring as soon as your soil is workable and the last hard frost has passed. In cooler zones or climates, you can actually sow your peas in both spring and fall and get multiple crops. Your peas will grow best in temperatures between 55 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but make sure your soil temperatures are about 45 degrees Fahrenheit or above for best germination.
Now, you can sow your seeds directly outdoors, directly into the soil, and so we're going to do that in this raised bed. Now, you can sow your seeds in a seed starting soil, you can sow them in a regular garden soil, just any general garden soil, or even potting soil, as long as it drains really well and it holds that water really tight for those seeds to actually germinate. They just need to be soaked either overnight or for about 24 hours so they soften up and start that germination process before you actually plant them. Now, you can see we're in a full sun location. These peas will actually need about 6 or more hours of full sunlight, so this is going to be a great location for this. So you'll need to find that same location in your garden. Now, before we sow the seeds in the soil, we need to pre-moisten it to make sure there's enough water that's going to be around those seeds actually when we put them in the ground. So we'll need to plant each pea seed about 1 inch down from the soil level, and they'll need to be spaced 4 inches apart. So we're just going to use our favorite seed sowing tool here and go right up next to the edge of our planter, because this is where they're all going to grow up from. On the trellis we're going to set up, and we're just going to eyeball it around 4 inches, go down about 1 inch, and then drop 1 seed into each planting hole. And then we'll cover and fill in those planting holes. And the last step is to water these in. Now, after sowing your seeds, you can expect them to germinate in about 6 to 17 days. And if you want a continual harvest of peas throughout the cool times of year, you need to sow seeds about every 2 to 3 weeks. Now, peas have what are considered average water needs, and that means you'll just need to keep that soil around those plant roots consistently moist, because you don't want to overwater them or underwater them. If you underwater them, you could have a delay in the flower development and flowers opening, and that'll impact when you can harvest your peas in the pea pods, and if you have less of a harvest than you could have if you kept them consistently moist. Now, if you overwater your peas, they are susceptible to root rot, so don't overwater them, and that could also actually delay flower development and your pea pods developing. Now, for watering, it's always good to put in some type of drip irrigation system or water down by the soil, right next to the soil, because you don't want to overwater the plants so they're not more susceptible to different kinds of diseases and to deter pests from actually coming in here and harming the plants. Also, if you want to make sure your soil stays consistently moist or has more water available for your plants, you can always put mulch down over the soil, and that'll help the water stay in the soil a lot longer for your plants to take it up and to stay healthy. Now, make sure to keep the area around your pea plants weeded because you don't want them competing with other plants for soil, water, or nutrients, or even growing space. Now, make sure to keep an eye out for powdery mildew, downy mildew, fusarium wilt, and bacterial blight. Peas are also susceptible to aphids, pea weevils, cutworms, and many other types of bugs, so make sure to keep an eye out for those.
You can expect to harvest your peas in 40 days after germination. Shelling peas are ready to harvest when the seeds are round and plump inside the pods. If your shelling peas are left too long on the vine, the peas can become fibrous and bitter tasting. If you want to collect pea seeds for next year, harvest the pods when they are dry and the seeds inside are hard to the touch. So in order to actually harvest your peas, grab each vine with one hand and pick the pea pods off with the other hand so you avoid damaging the vines. This way they will keep producing more pea pods, and the more you pick, the more they will produce. Make sure and always harvest in the early morning after watering when the plants are least stressed.
Now, if you need more vegetable or flower planting or growing tips, you can always go to EdenBrothers.com and check out their planting guides.
And we hope this video is really helpful for you in getting your seeds sown. And from us at Spoken Garden and Eden Brothers, thank you for watching.